So I wanted to focus in on the Eagle Edgeless. What goes into
Yeah.
the designing a specific towel, and how did it evolve from the beginning till now?
So when that one started, it was a lower GSM. It was more in the 450 to 460 range,
Mhm.
the initial
Yeah.
ones. And the people always get this impression like, oh, microfiber, I can get it from the same factory you got it from, and that kind of thing. It's like, well, actually, just by you saying that, I already can tell you don't know what you're talking about. So the hard part when it comes to microfiber is it's not just one place does everything kind of deal. There's a
Mhm.
very segmented way in which this stuff gets made. And while obviously I can't break down all the specifics of it,
Yeah.
the main part to understand is your yarn is generally made first in one place. Then you've got the dyes that are handled by a dye house in a different place. Then
Mhm.
you've got a place that'll actually do the weaves and the construction using the materials and the dye and all that stuff, and basically combining all that until you finally got a finished product that makes its way to you. Now, if you're looking to start your own business and do that kind of thing, there's a lot of these different elements, but oftentimes there are people who like act as reps that can kind of like consolidate the experience for you, which is I think how like in early days that's how it was working for them. Now we've established relationships where we pretty much know like almost everybody that's out there doing that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
and just understanding like how to pick and choose what works best for our setup and what people are going to want, because it can be frustrating when you have something great going and then one of those segments along the way starts to have issues.
Mhm.
And
Hmm.
say like it's usually not the yarn's like usually the most solid part, because we always stuck to only the
Yep.
absolute cream of the crop, top tier yarn. You got to start with that, and then whatever you do with it afterwards,
Mhm.
it'll still be pretty good, even if something gets screwed up along the way after that. But that's key,
Hmm.
is just getting the best yarn possible first.
Yep.
But after that, yeah, sometimes you have like the dye house has some issues where it's not locking properly. The color can bleed more.
Mhm.
That kind of stuff can sneak up on people, because I know everybody's
Oh
really
yeah.
sensitive to that. And I totally understand it. It's never fun to have like your laundry bleed over into other stuff. But I've also met a lot of detailers who I don't think their mom ever taught them how to actually wash clothes,
Yep. That's a big
because
problem too.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
bleeding where it's like you could have prevented that, but you
Mhm.
just took the, one
You
size
chose
fits
not
all
to.
approach and threw it all in there. And then you were
Me.
mad when it didn't
Me.
work
I'm
out.
that
It's
guy.
like, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
that guy
That's
too,
me.
but the difference is I know better and I still do it, but I'm calculated
Yeah.
and I know when not to do it too.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
there's a particular way that you can get away with it up to a point. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think a lot of the frustrations people don't understand. It's not just coming from one place. There's a lot of points along the way in the process where something could get knocked out of alignment, and then the final product is somehow compromised. Usually that's not a problem, but whenever it has been an issue, it is difficult because there's obviously a big delay where it's being produced in South Korea or China, depending on which type you're trying to get.
Mhm.
Yeah, you have to do all this stuff really far in advance. Build out your preferences for like the specs you're looking for and certain types of weaves you want, all that, and then months and months later, it eventually makes its way to you. But by that point, all kinds of things could have happened in the interim where, people's
Yep.
tastes changed and now they all want a different kind of towel or something. So in the early days, it was really hard trying to like predict what people wanted. So we had to just come to our senses and say, all right, we can't play catch up because it's just too slow that way. We have to try and be
Hmm.
the taste makers and put something out there that's just going to appeal to people, win them over that way. And then they'll decide, oh, that's what I want.
Yep.
So it's not a perfect science. You screw up sometimes. It happens. But the Eagle
Mhm.
Edgeless was one of those that did work out. And it existed in our line, as I
Yeah, I'd
said,
say
as
so.
a alphanumeric, just like unremarkable if you saw it on a spreadsheet. But in
Mhm.
person,
Yeah.
if you saw it, you're like, oh, this feels and acts different. That
Mm.
circular knit weave is very nice. It just has a
Nice.
particular feel to it, because a lot of people are like, oh, when I touch these towels, it catches on my skin. Well, those are like a
Yeah.
closed loop towel.
Mhm.
These don't really do that.
No.
They're a
Yeah.
little bit different. They have a very gentle feel to them, but they're very
Yep.
premium. So you treat them that way. But yeah, once again, you look at a spreadsheet. Nobody's getting excited over 4101-1616
Yep.
B.
All right,
So
Dane, we
yeah.
gotta move on. Process of bringing in brands, Dane. So how?